Howdy folks, welcome to the #1 rated midweek podcast on Patreon. It's the MWO podcast hosted by the Creepy Kentuckian. So sit back, relax, and sip some champagne from my Urethra Franklin. Take it away, Bulls.
Howdy folks, and welcome. It is the April 20th edition of the midweek obliteration here on Patreon. Very special guest coming back on the show from Pop's Movie Dungeon. The man that just can't stop. It's Pop.
What's going on, buddy? Thank you for having me on again, man. I hope there's no hardcore fans in the chat. Man, I went into this with an open mind, and I try not to be negative. I really do. But man, this movie was hot ass garbage, in my opinion. I'm just going to start off with that. Now, that being said, there were a few things about the movies I did enjoy. The Nazi midgets were fun to a certain extent. You know, watching the midget ride a cow, you know, that was okay.
Didn't he bite on a cow's ass at one point?
He did bite on a cow's ass, and when you got the granddaddy and the grandma in the bed having sex, and the two midgets walk in the room and ask Grandpa if they can watch, and Grandpa says okay, that's fine cinema in my opinion.
So to give a little bit of a backstory though, this is from 1985. This movie,
yeah,
Hard Rock Zombies. Originally, this was part of like a anthology type movie. It was only supposed to be 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I guess during the making of the movie, they were having so much fun, they decided to make it a feature-length movie. It was like a 96-minute movie. It's promising starting out. It really is. Because I'm like, okay, man, you've got a hard rock band. They're on the road. They're going to travel to this small town. And you're kind of like, well, zombies are somehow going to be involved. And what's going on here? And part of the opening is like a feature-length music video almost with this band. There's one or two songs that they keep playing over and over and over in this. And the look of the band members are freaking great. The lead singer, he has like the most enormous mullet I've ever seen.
It's like Joe Dirt's big brother.
A Burt Reynolds mustache. I guess that was around the time period it was cool to have a mustache. So they're traveling to this small town, and the plot pretty much ends here. I mean, they meet up with this blonde who offers them a place to stay while they're there with her family at this big-ass house. And their family are a bunch of monsters / Nazi demons / I don't know what the hell you want to call it.
Hitler. Spoiler alert.
One of them is Hitler lives in this, and he was the grandpa, right? And it was one of those deals where back in the day, to avoid any sort of makeup or anything, they just had like a blank latex mask that the grandfather just. And there he was. It was old Hitler. Did you notice, like, where the fuck did Hitler go? Like, after one or two scenes, he was like gone.
Well, the last 30 minutes of the movie, it plays out like a really bad music video. It just jumps around from this to that, and I kept thinking, okay, this is the end. Where's the credits? Roll the credits. Oh shit, there's more. Roll the credits. I said that at least 10 times. Damn, is this going to end? Roll the credits. And it just jumped around. The last 30 minutes, man, is a clusterfuck.
It's really painfully long.
Yeah,
Had
really
it been a 20-minute movie, it would have been great. It would have been excellent 20 minutes.
Originally, this movie, like you said, was supposed to be 20 minutes long. He had another movie called The American Drive-In, or America Drive-In, or something like that. Uh-huh. And this was supposed to be just footage that was going to be shown on the drive-in screen during that movie. And then, like you said, he decided to throw some more money at it and make a full-length movie out of it.
That movie actually did come out, evidently. I don't know if it ever come out on video or anything like that, but it is on IMDb. Yeah. I didn't really look into exactly what that American Drive-In movie was, but that's interesting for sure. So, yeah, it was originally just supposed to be like filler material.
Right, it was going to be what was shown on the screen while you're having the movie of American Drive-In. And for whatever reason, they were having a good time and decided to make a movie out of it. So.
Yeah, and there's just so much randomness in this movie, though. The grandma's like a werewolf or something, too.
Yeah.
Wasn't that?
Yeah, the grandma's like a werewolf. And, what did you think about the Psycho shower scene ripoff?
Oh, that was excellent. I mean, that was just
even
epic.
the grandma had the Mama Bates look going on, Norman Bates look going on.
Do you remember this cover, though? This was the VHS cover. Vestron Video did the VHS back in the 80s. I don't really remember this in the store.
I remember that more than I do the other one. That's the one I remember always seeing on the shelves back in the day. For the other movie that comes with this. I think I remember that. I think it looked familiar when they first released it. But it was the other side, the Slaughterhouse Rock's the one that I really recognized.
Vinegar Syndrome recently came out with this. And if you're a fan of this movie, evidently there are some people that are, hardcores. I mean, the music in it's actually not too bad. I actually kind of enjoy that type of music. That's maybe one of the only positives I can give it. It's goofy. It reminds me a lot of, have you ever seen Spookies? Another one that Vinegar Syndrome did. It's like Spookies, but without any cool like makeup or gore effects in it, really. It's the same sort of just random.
So, CK, I got to ask you, when the zombies come back and they do the robotic zombie walk, that's when I checked out. I kept thinking, okay, the zombies are going to save this movie for me. When these motherfuckers come back and they're zombies, I'm going to get into it. When they came out of the grave, they started doing that. I said, okay, I'm done. I'm going to get through the rest of this movie. I'm done.
And you would think, too, that if they're zombies, you could easily, cheaply make them look like zombies. But really, all they did is they put,
Kiss makeup
style, Kiss-style makeup on them. And they can still play their instruments and sing and everything. I thought it was funny is the lead singer, I think his name in the movie was Jesse, he meets up with this random girl out of nowhere and doesn't even know her name, but writes a song about her that's called Cassie. That's her name. You remember that? He's like, I wrote a song about you. What's your name?
And when he's in the prison cell, he looks at her outside the prison cell and says, "You're neat." He's got all kind of game. He says, "You're neat."
This is just it's very confusing in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's random characters enter in the movie throughout the entire film, like new people, and you're like, what in the hell? Who's that? They have a town hall thing where they're trying to...
And about the town hall, what's up with the poor man's Gandalf? You got the guy in the back, whatever, looks like fucking Gandalf. He's like the old wise man. He's got the cane and the long robe and the beard. It's like, what the hell?
I have no idea. I'm guessing it's just random people that were there.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just already there. I don't know. This is prime Vinegar Syndrome shit, though. I mean, this is just along the lines of a lot of the stuff that they release. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do these movies both separately. I mean, I really don't know why they put them together. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when they're releasing 4 and 5 titles a month.
Slaughterhouse Rock would have been a great release on its own. I watched that one as well after I watched the other one, and I don't want to get too deep into that one, but I actually liked it a lot better.
I'd seen the other one before. It's definitely a lot. They have a lot more of a budget to work with in that, and it's an actual movie. They actually knew what the hell they were doing a little bit. Well, a little bit more than this movie.
Did you know that the guy that played the lead singer, his name in real life is E.L. Curcio? They call him E.L. Curse. Well, shortly after the movie was made, he started throwing out. He was in a real band. He was a bass player in his real band, and he actually started throwing demos out everywhere. And he finally got a phone call one day, and it was Gene Simmons. Well, Gene Simmons ended up giving him a record deal, his band a record deal on some new label, which is like a subsidiary of RCA. And his band was called Silent Rage, and they got 2 albums out, and they're actually on Apple Music. I looked them up on Apple Music. So it was a band called Silent Rage. They had 2 albums, and they were signed by Gene Simmons. So that was kind of cool.
I had no idea on that.
And the opening scene when the band's backstage and all the groupies are attacking them and everything, there's one girl, it's a blonde girl. He signs her boobs. Well, that girl was also got signed by a record deal, and she was in a group called Precious Metal. I've actually heard of Precious Metal. It's an all-girl hard rock band, hair metal band.
Right.
And and they're still performing today. So, useless information about this movie I looked up.
Another thing that I noticed is one of the little people, or midget, they don't like to be called midgets. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we probably don't.
I did not, but my apologies to the
little people. Phil Fondacaro, who had done all kinds of movies in the 80s. Like he was in Willow, he was the troll, and he did 2 different roles in the first Troll movie. Worked a lot with Charles Band and all that. This was one of his very early movies. He was the one that actually bit the cow's ass.
You can't make this shit up.
That's legit in there, yeah, for sure. I think that this is a movie that would play a lot better if you had just a group of buddies sitting around, eating pizza, drinking beer or whatever, and making fun of it, because that's all it is. I mean, it's just stupid. Like they have it listed on IMDb as like a horror comedy, which, I mean, you can tell they definitely wanted to make it funny in a few aspects, but it makes no sense at all. It is one of the more random movies from scene to scene. You're like, what in the hell is going on in this? The transfer on this, though, I wanted to put that over a little bit, because Vinegar Syndrome, with what they've got, they always do the best job. You know, they do as good a job as anybody out there.
Yeah, I agree.
This was from a 35 millimeter film print. So a lot of the time, and we've talked about it over the years, doing the show and everything. And so what you want when you're remastering a movie is the original camera negatives or the inner positive, is what Don May says. Sometimes with these low budget movies, that is just, it's lost. Nobody can find it. So with Hard Rock Zombies, they used a 35 millimeter film print, cleaned it up as best they could, and it looked pretty killer, all things considered. It's a very low budget movie.
Right.
And it looked like there was some uncut like scenes that was added in there, like gore scenes that was from almost looked like a VHS. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yeah, I did. And there's actually a disclaimer when it first starts from Vinegar Syndrome that basically states that some of the film was fairly damaged, and they did the best they could with it. So maybe that was the parts you're talking about. They just kind of spliced them in the best they could. So for what they had to work with, man, they did a great job on the transfer. Yeah,
and you're talking about movies before that. I don't think either of these. Maybe Slaughterhouse Rock was out on DVD, but I'm positive that Hard Rock Zombies had never been on anything before, like DVD. Not since the VHS era, the Vestron VHS. Right. But this movie, man, like, if it sounds like something that you would like, you probably would. It's not a movie for everybody. I'll just say that.
No.
Some people's not going to... Like, Uncle Bill's a big fan of, like, horror comedies and just goofy... It's very much like a trauma movie, I would say. Very goofy like that. So, if you're into that sort of thing, you may get a kick out of it. Vinegar Syndrome, though, they did an excellent job with the release. This is a double feature with Slaughterhouse Rock.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I can think of is they're both kind of music-based. Is the only reason they would put these two together.
Well, one thing I can say about these being on the same disc is I watched this one. I watched Hard Rock Zombies, and I immediately turned around and watched Slaughterhouse Rock. And after watching Slaughterhouse Rock right after Hard Rock Zombies, Slaughterhouse Rock was a Golden Globe nomination. I mean, it made that movie look so friggin' good after watching Hard Rock Zombies, because that movie's such a cluster. You go to watch, Slaughterhouse Rock, and this is an actual movie. It's like, damn, that's good. Damn, I'm enjoying this. And I think it's because I just got to be watching this shit. And so going from that to that, it made this movie look really good. So maybe that's why they put it on the same disc. I don't know.
We got to talk about the end, too, because this is just an example of how random shit is done in this movie. So the end of the movie, they're leading the town zombies into this cave I don't know what the deal is with the cave, but they close the cave off and they release some sort of gas in the cave. It has like a piping system with similar to like, I guess that they were going for the gas chamber type.
I didn't
deal,
realize
since
the zombies needed oxygen to survive.
Right, but that's they killed off the zombies that way. That was original one there.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing for you, man. I ain't got nothing for you. I watched it shaking my head going, what in the hell is this? I said that a whole lot during this movie.
Yeah, but that cave was, it had the gas hookups and shit in it for some reason.
And how about the special feature they got on there called popcorn farts and low budget cheese?
Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
don't.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
For this video officially, it's Old Curly Jaws has a message for you. Go on over to shop.deadpit.com and go look at their Teen Public store right now. You've got some new shirts like the Old Curly Jaws official t-shirt, which is brutal and badass. You got the Yummy Gummy shirt with the captain himself on the shirt. You got Uncle Bill's face on a fucking shirt. You got the Final Girl shirt. You got all these shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Get them before they're all out, especially the new one, Bedtime 1039. It doesn't get better than that, so go on out. Check out these shirts at shop.deadpit.com. Go look at their Teen Public store. You're going to have a good old time. Get them all.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.